check, 1, 2. Camera check, 1, 2. Make
First tell me who actually did the investigation, who determined the cause. The fire department, the gas company?
An incident like this, an incident this large, is a cooperative effort. Of course, Torrance fire investigators led the charge on this one, but our fire investigators called in fire units, fire investigators from throughout the South Bay. We also worked in coordination with gas companies, investigators, and this still is an ongoing investigation.
And what would you compare this disaster to? I mean, if there is anything comparable or the magnitude of it.
Well, this was a significant explosion. I've been a firefighter here for 17 years. I'm in my 17th year, and this is as large a residential disaster as I've ever seen here in the city of Torrance.
And tell me about, I know the city's really pulled together to get this cleaned up and get families out into the temporary shelters. Tell me a little bit about the city's effort.
We might as well start with the street, because where we were standing a couple of hours ago was literally curb deep in debris. our street department came in and within a matter of hours had this place completely cleaned. Not just the streets, but the residents surrounding this explosion, this tragic explosion, they had their front yards cleaned also. So my helmet is literally off to them. But in terms of an incident like this, we'll talk about fire extinguishment. We came in here with our fire units, but our good friends from the west of us, Redondo Beach, came in and assisted us in extinguishing this fire. Between the two organizations, we had 40 firefighters on scene. We worked with our allies in the Torrance Police Department, working on searching these affected structures, making sure that all the residents were out, evacuated safely, and our Torrance fire medics, along with Redondo fire medics, worked on the patients. There were 10 of them, 5 of them transported to area hospitals. One of the things that we also did in an incident like this, we recognized the fact almost immediately that this was going to affect us on a citywide basis. So they activated our EOC, or Emergency Operations Center. We wanted to make sure that we were able to get information from the different departments in the city and then disperse it to the residents of Torrance to minimize the impact of this incident throughout the city.
Tell me also the building safety department.
Yeah, building and safety came through and with our firefighters determined whether or not these structures were habitable, whether or not the people could actually come back in, how seriously damaged they were. Of course, you see to my left a house completely destroyed, but behind that you have a home that's heavily damaged. Around us you have homes in varying degrees of damage. We had approximately 33 homes in the city of Torrance damaged, and then over 80 homes in the city of Redondo Beach damaged. Now, those include apartment units also. But as you can see, an incident like this requires the city and its neighbors to really pull together.
And I noticed that they've already started boarding up the windows, and I think, is that what you guys have done already with all the homes so that nothing happens, that no one loots in? And
these are contractors that the city of Torrance works with to come in and secure these homes. Paramount importance, of course, once we've evacuated these residents, is to make sure that their homes are secure. That's where our good friends from the Torrance Police Department come in.
And also, you said the city paid for all of this?
No, I can't comment on that.
Okay. What are some... Tell me a little bit about what happened with the natural gas. Just briefly explain what you know now.
Okay, our fire investigators determined that we had a home that was tended for fumigation, filled with natural gas. The natural gas that had filled the tent, the fumigation tent, found an ignition source and exploded, resulting in the damage that you see around you today.
And are there any preventative measures that people could have taken to prevent something like this, or is this just kind of...
Well, this, I can't really speak to this, but in general, you definitely want to take precautions. Of course, anytime you're going to get your home fumigated, you want to work with a fumigation company to make sure all your pilots are out, that your utilities are completely controlled. Good, certified company, contractor's license, be able to take care of that. If you have any questions about stuff like that, you can obviously contact the gas company, your utility companies, or the Torrance Fire Department.
I know that the city's never prepared fully for anything like this, but just can you tell me roughly what the city had ready to go the minute that it was called in?
On the contrary, we train on a consistent basis to handle small incidents, but we also train as consistently on the larger incidents. We worked seamlessly with the Redondo Fire Department as they came in. We worked very effectively with Torrance Police, and that falls under something we call, it's a very technical term for the fire service, but we call it a unified command. All the components that came together that we discussed earlier came together under that unified command and allowed us to work in concert, each department working with one another to stabilize the situation as quickly as it did. What we're left with, of course, is the toll in humanity around us. These families are going to take quite a while to recover, but I'm sure, working with not only with city departments, but their own insurance companies, things along those lines, they'll recover pretty effectively.
Are you guys surprised that there were no fatalities? I mean, an explosion this big and everyone made it out okay. Only 5 really were taken to the hospital.
And those 5 were minor injuries. Yes, anytime we have an incident of this magnitude, an explosion this violent, you expect to see injuries a lot more significant than what we saw. Unbelievable sense of relief, everybody out here, that we had so few injuries, and the injuries that we had were minor.
And tell me about the shelter that's set up too for people who know family or friends out here. What's going on with the victims now?
Yeah, one of the things that we do in the city of Torrance are set up shelters should the incident call for it. Today, Parks and Recreation, another department that I neglected to mention earlier, set up a shelter over at West High. I can't answer you as to how many people were over there, but it was made available to them, and it was a place to go. And pretty stressful situation, and I realize that that's truly an understatement.
That's going to be for overnight as well, right? Until everything.
I can't answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be Parks and Rec.
Okay. That's it. Thank you. Make it like so it's not a total close-up on my sweaty face.
I know. No problem. Ready and speedy.
It was described as a large 3, 2,
Ready and rolling.
3, 2, 1. It was described as a loud boom by Torrance and Redondo Beach residents. The tenant house. I'm just gonna keep going. 3, 2, 1. It was described as a loud.
Ready and go.
It was described as a loud boom.
Trying to get ready.
It was described as a loud boom in the Torrance. Actually, I'm gonna do it without smiling.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. It was described as a loud boom by Torrance and Redondo Beach residents. The house that was tented for termites exploded at 5:47 this morning in the 20,900 block area of Tom Lee Avenue. The homes that were affected reached out as far as 2 miles from the disaster area. So far, there have been 10 minor injuries, with 5 that were actually transported to local hospitals. More than 40 firefighters came out this morning to contain the fire, with the efforts of both Redondo Beach cities as well as the Torrance city departments. As you can see behind me, the streets have been fairly cleaned up since this morning's report, and they are saying that it's a natural gas explosion. We'll have more on that as information comes in. So far, residents have been taken to a shelter nearby at West High School, and we'll give you that information on a full-page graphic. We'll have more coming up here on Torrance.